I see the place in you that we are one. What would it be like to live that? How do we do that? Well, the first key is to recognize we don't do it. We don't love ourselves. In fact, we even think it's selfish. Isn't that amazing? And yet, this is the peace of God that you have been given to learn how to love. Right here, right now. And instead, if you had a little door on your forehead and you could open it up and watch the ticker tape of what goes through your mind all day long, what would be there? If we would talk to our friends like we talk to ourselves, we wouldn't have many friends. Isn't that true? And you try to hide it. And what has happened is that we've all have this idea. We come up with this idea of what we should be. And then we are always comparing ourselves to this mythical idea of perfection. And we come up short over and over again. And so we put ourselves out of our own hearts. And how can you see God everywhere when you can't see you through the eyes of God? And so this is exhausting. I love to say that human beings have 65,000 thoughts a day, and 95% of them are repeats from the day before, and most of them are from what I call the problem factory of your mind. Just sending out little problems all day long. And it could be, just the length of the stoplight, or it could be your size of your nose. Oh my God, or your thighs. Or that you burp in public, or your husband burps in public. But if we're honest, we are playing this game that I need to be different than what I am in order to be okay, in order to know love. And that is heartbreaking. And it cuts you off from the truth that God is, that love is, and that you are loved exactly as you are. So how do we do this? The Dalai Lama calls it internal disarmament. And he said it is one of the most important things a human being can do for world peace. Do you want to heal this world? Heal the war inside of you. First of all, recognize there is a war, that you have been conditioned to try to be what you think you should be, rather than allowing yourself to relax and be the vibrancy, the smile, to let life flow through you. And so how we do that is to begin to realize that we're all nutty as a fruitcake. You are a mixture of dark and light. Stephen would say this over and over again. It is not your togetherness that takes you to God. It's your humanness. Every single atom that makes up every single thing, the chair, the rug, myself, my hair, the sweater, the microphone, every single atom has a positive and negative charge. Why would you be any different? Stephen said, I'm going to create a hat. And when you put it on your head, it's going to instantaneously broadcast over a loudspeaker all of your thoughts. Okay? Now just watch. What just came? What don't you want the world to know about? I guarantee you, at any moment, whatever you are rejecting about yourself, there are at least 1,000,000 or 1,000,000,000 people on this planet that are experiencing the same thing. That we pretend, we put on this personality. Your personality means, it comes from the root word persona, which means mask. What would it be like if you came out of hiding? What would it be like if you came back to your own heart and realized that you have strengths, you have weaknesses, and that's okay? Stephen would say, if you take a step down the path of life, you go 2 feet. If you fall flat on your face, you go 6 feet. What would it be like if we understood that our so-called imperfections are gifts from God? I know this is a radical viewpoint. But I just ask you to look and see if trying to make yourself into a right kind of person, has that ever brought you the peace that you long for? So why not try it? Why not understand that you are that mixture of dark and light? That compulsion, that warrior inside of you, the one that gets so angry and judges other people or judges yourself, what would it be like if you met all of that in your own heart today? And what would it be like if you began to understand that you have been given these qualities that you have formerly tried to push away, that you have been given them, that your task as a human being is to bring those qualities back to love. And I want to say this again because this is the core of this message I am offering you today. That you are a mixture of dark and light. One of my favorite quotes, freedom comes when you are without anxiety about non-perfection. Do you get that? You're not always spending your time struggling, trying to get yourself to be what you think you should be. I love when I teach classes, I say, we're like little old people endlessly trying to unravel a ball of yarn, and all the while we're sitting in paradise. Love is. God is. And you are created in the image of God. Do we have the courage to claim ourselves as we are? I assure you, the mind will say, well, then I'll just sit around like a couch potato or whatever. I assure you that you will become that smile. So Thich Nhat Hanh has a wonderful, the Buddhist monk that has written many books and was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize by Martin Luther King. And he has this wonderful little mantra, darling, I love you just as you are. So, I am giving you an invitation that for today, to take that into your heart, to hold that possibility that even when some of the old stuff comes up and you want to go, ooh, that you say, darling, I love you just as you are. And the amazing thing begins to happen is that as you begin to meet yourself in your own heart, all of it, not just some of it, but all of it, you begin to see through new eyes.